Good evening, everybody. Buenas tardes. Welcome to all. I'm Patricia Perez, AARP California's State President Emeritus. Bienvenidos. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our second installment of Let's Talk Dinero Financial Security Series. Bienvenidos a todos. We know that talking finances can be overwhelming and daunting, I'm aware, but planning our financial future starts today. Having a financial plan will help you and your family be better prepared for the future. And we recognize that families work hard to provide for each other. That is why today we'll talk about family paid leave and how to access resources that can help if you and your family are providing care for a loved one at home. I myself, I'm a caregiver, or I was a caregiver for many, many years. And I know that the love that it takes, but also the financial toll. I had someone staying with my disabled sister during the day, but even then there were many medical emergencies and there were, even if the lady couldn't show up, that meant I had to take off work. And I know how complicated it can be. And I know I'm not alone. Family caregivers nationwide spend on average nearly 20% of their income on care for a loved one. That's nearly $7,000 out of pocket. And Latino caregivers spend even more at $9,000. Often these expenses are unexpected, but can be financially devastating for a caregiver's current and future finances, including lost wages, less Social Security over their lifetime, and anyway, much, much more. Today's topic is relevant for those currently caring for a loved one, or if you're preparing to care for someone in the future, but also if you know someone who's still employed, still, you can share this valuable information with people, please. And you can also ask questions. We have experts. I encourage you to ask your questions. To help us with today's discussion, it is my pleasure to welcome two speakers from the California Work and Family Coalition. First, we have Katie Waters-Smith, who serves as a political organizing director. Katie helps build and strengthen our statewide network of paid leave leaders. Her experience as a lactation consultant inspired her to become a paid family leave advocate. Her goal is to help build a grassroots movement for paid leave that brings together people and organizations from all over the state. She's an international board certified lactation consultant and holds a bachelor's degree in public policy analysis from Pomona College. Also joining us is Charlotte Flanders, who recently completed her master's in public health with a concentration in community health education from the Colorado School of Public Health. Prior to her master's degree, she completed her undergraduate degree in political science and international relations in Iowa. During this time, she was fortunate enough to study and intern in Asia and Europe, focusing on educating vulnerable communities on global health and policy. Originally from the Philippines, Charlotte is now in the Bay Area. And when she's not working, her favorite activities are hiking, exploring new cities, and trying new foods. Well, Katie and Charlotte, welcome. Thank you. Bienvenidas. Thank you for joining us. And to get us going, please tell us about the California Work and Family Coalition and your role. Katie, you want to start?
Thank you so much, Patricia. It's really wonderful to be here with all of you. I'm going to just share my screen with some slides. So again, we're very happy to be here today to be presenting this information. A little bit about us. We are with the California Work and Family Coalition, which is a statewide alliance of organizations, and we're united in the belief that all people should have the time and resources to care for themselves and each other. Through organizing, advocacy, and education, we're fighting for a world where all workers and family members have access to paid leave to bond with new children and care for our families. We'd love to do presentations like this to bring information to people who need it. We also advocate for policy change so that our laws are more expansive. And you've already met Charlotte and myself, but we also have a number of colleagues at the coalition who are on staff. And we have member organizations from many different kinds of organizations all over the state, including AARP California. So we're very happy to be here. And with that, I will hand it back to you, Patricia.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. Anything you want to add to that description?
No, that I'm just excited to be here today to talk about paid family leave and job protection, and here to answer your questions as well. So yeah, back to you.
Perfect. No, and you can see on the screen, I mean, this truly is a coalition because it does take many organizations to get this valuable information out to communities, but also just to make it available to us. I mean, many people like, myself, truly benefited from this. But let's see, before we begin our discussion, we're going to launch a poll to get to know where our viewers are right now on, in your journey. So let me ask, this is a yes or no. Please let us know. I am currently helping an aging relative and providing them with financial support. So please say yes or no. And really, this financial support can be, taking them shopping, buying them food, paying for their medications. I mean, it varies in terms of what, financial support. So please, just simple yes or no. And Adriana from ARP, who's helping us, so she'll let us know. And sometimes caregiving is a matter of degrees. It's not like one day all of a sudden you're a caregiver. Sometimes it's just like helping somebody in the morning, helping them dress, taking them to doctor's appointments, taking a day off to do, run errands with them. So it really is by degrees. And the response is the majority are. And that means that is pretty significant, 67% of our viewers. And that is wonderful because many people do not even identify as caregivers. So for us to be able to say 67% saying yes, they're providing financial support, that's pretty significant. All right. So ladies, tell us about paid family leave. How can someone who's a caregiver take leave from work while getting paid?
That is an excellent question, and we're very excited to talk to you about this. So I'm going to start by providing just some basic information about paid family leave in California. So paid family leave and state disability insurance are two different programs that can provide partial wage replacement for people who need to step away from work due to specific reasons. And they really are like two halves of a whole. So they're both wage replacement programs that are funded through the California State Disability Insurance Program, which is funded through employee contributions, which means our money is going into this program. And it works very similarly to Social Security, where we pay in a little bit when we're working, and then these benefits are available to us when we have a qualifying reason. So in California, we do have pay available if you need time away from work, if you're pregnant, you're disabled or have your own serious illness, you're caring for a family member, which is I know what we're here to focus on today, or if you're bonding with a new child. And the difference in terms of disability insurance versus paid family leave is really the reason why you need the leave. So you would use disability insurance for your own serious illness, which includes pregnancy. And you would use paid family leave if you're caring for someone else. So that person could be a seriously ill family member, they could be a new child, and you can also use paid family leave to prepare for a military exigency. So when we're looking at the eligibility requirements, some of them are the same for paid family leave and state disability insurance. So you need to be paying into the California State Disability Insurance Fund, and you need to have earned at least $300 from which SDI contributions were removed. And then we see that there's a difference. Again, paid family leave is what you would use if you have a new child or you need to care for a seriously ill family member. And state disability insurance is what you would use if you are unable to work due to a serious illness, including pregnancy. And you do need to be in the labor market and have suffered wage loss in order to qualify for state disability insurance. So how do you know if you qualify? The simplest thing to do is to take a look at your paycheck. If it says CASDI or some version of that, sometimes it's spelled out, California State Disability Insurance, and contributions were withheld, then the odds are that yes, you qualify for these programs. So again, just looking at a little bit more depth at the qualifying reasons to use paid family leave. For parents, it can be used to bond or care for a new baby, an adopted or foster child. You do need to take the leave within the first year of your child's birth or placement in your home. And for caregivers, you can use paid family leave to care for a seriously ill family member. And that family member has to be a family member on this specific list. So it must be your child, spouse, domestic partner, parent, grandparent, grandchild, parent-in-law, or your sibling. And the benefits that you get when you are using paid family leave and state disability insurance are you receive partial wage replacement, which is 60% for most people. Only the very lowest income workers qualify for 70% wage replacement. And that's up to a maximum amount of a benefit amount of $1,540 per week. You can receive those benefits for up to 8 weeks for paid family leave and up to 52 weeks for state disability insurance. And you can take the leave either all at once or in parts. So it can be hourly, daily, or weekly. And you should apply through the EDD website within 41 days of when you need to take the leave, but you can also apply later if you have good cause. So you do apply for paid family leave through the EDD, the Employment Development Department, which is the government agency that administers this program. There are some important documents that you need to provide to essentially show, yes, my family member has a serious condition, a health condition, I am the person who is caring for them. And one really important thing that we wanted to note is that your family member does not have to live in California in order for you to take paid family leave to care for them. So as long as you are in California and you are contributing to the California State Disability Insurance Fund, your family member can live in another state or even in another country. So 2 more things that are important to know about paid family leave and state disability insurance are one, that citizenship and immigration status do not affect eligibility for paid family leave or state disability insurance benefits, but also that paid family leave and state disability insurance are wage replacement programs only, which means that they do not require your employer to guarantee your job back when you return from leave. And so that's why it's really important to know about job protection laws, so to make sure that you are both knowing your rights in terms of pay and also in terms of job protection. So with that, I'm going to hand it to my colleague, Charlotte, who's going to tell us about some important job protection laws.
Thanks, Katie. So what is job protection? So your employer is only required to protect your job if you're covered by separate state and federal laws. So if you qualify for job protection, your employer must guarantee your job or a comparable job when you return from leave and maintain your benefits during leave. If your employer refuses your request for leave or retaliates against you, that is prohibited. So it's illegal, and the job protection protects you as you take leave. So what are some of these qualifying reasons and what are these laws? Next slide. So job protection laws, there's a few different ones. So at the federal level, which maybe some of you have already heard of, Family Medical Leave Act, so FMLA. So this applies to all of the United States. But here in California, we also have our own job protection laws that we often refer to and talk about because they're actually quite a lot stronger than FMLA. So here in California, we have the California Family Rights Act, sometimes referred to as CIFRA, and also pregnancy disability leave, also sometimes called PDL. So this applies to California workers only, but they are definitely stronger than FMLA, but we'll cover all of this in the next few slides. So qualifying reasons under the California Family Rights Act. So the reason why you take CFRA is that you are taking time off to, one, care for your own serious health condition, two, bond with a newborn or recently adopted and foster child, three, care for a seriously ill family member. And this definition is similar to the caregiving definition in paid family leave, but we'll go over it again. So a family member is defined as children, spouses, domestic partners, parents, grandparents, grandchildren, parent-in-law, and siblings. And then finally, for specific situations related to military deployment for your child, parent, or spouse. Next slide. And then eligibility requirements for CFRA and FMLA. So you need to work 1 year on the job, work at least 1,250 hours in the prior year. So that's about 25 hours a week. And then for the third one, you can see there's an asterisk. So work for an employer with 5 or more employees. This is specifically for CFRA, so the California Family Rights Act. For FMLA, it's 50 or more employees. And that's why we focus on CFRA here in California, because it covers many more workers, and from small businesses to large corporations. And we're able to protect and cover more workers. So that means if you're eligible for job protection and eligible for paid family leave, you can take these at the same time and be job protected, have job protected paid leave. So that's why we focus on CFRA, but they're quite similar requirements for both the state and federal level. Next slide. So your rights, if you qualify for job protection for California Family Rights Act and Family Medical Leave Act, is that you have 12 weeks a year for leave. That means you can take this all at once or intermittently, so maybe monthly or weekly. You should be restored to the same or equivalent job. Your health benefits should continue while you're on this leave, and you are protected from discrimination and retaliation from your employer. And there are multiple ways to ensure your rights. So as you're getting ready, as you're learning about your rights now, a few other things that's great to do is talk to your doctor or medical provider, especially as a caregiver, understand the person that you're caring for, the treatment that they may need. Would you only be taking care of them a few times a week? Would this be year round? And just speak to your medical provider and their medical provider about that. Speak to your employer as you're getting ready to take leave. Reach out to the EDD, Employment and Development Department, for any questions. And of course, you can always reach out to us at the California Work and Family Coalition. And then finally, we do recommend to document all your communication, get everything in writing, whether it's email, text, medical, doctors, requests, anything that you have, we just request to have it on file, whether electronically or in paper form. And I know that was a lot of information. We have a really great Know Your Rights paid leave in California toolkit. This is in English, Spanish, Mandarin, Korean, and Vietnamese. This talks you through all of the leaves that we'll talk today, from paid sick leave, paid family leave, and job protection, how the laws work together. And it even has ways to communicate with your employer as you're beginning to take leave. And I'll put the links in the chat.
Perfect. And Katie, Charlotte, we have a question. I know we're talking about people who are employed. Will you also provide information for people who are retired but are caring for a spouse?
That's a great question. I think if you are already retired, if you were recently retired, then you could look back and see if you might be able to qualify for state disability insurance. But I don't know that I have more information on that if you've been retired for a longer period of time. I don't know, Charlotte, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I'm sure we could maybe we have a statewide membership of various members and organizations that work in a variety of expertise, that I'm sure we could provide some materials and resources to help you through that as well.
Perfect. So this is primarily for people who are still employed.
Yes. Yes, so unfortunately, yes, it is for primarily for those who are employed, or if you are recently unemployed, there is a way, as Katie mentioned, you can look back. It's just how long have you paid into the state disability insurance. So yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. I want to take another poll, I believe, at this time. We'll take another poll. And the question is, how many hours of work have you missed this year for caregiving? And right here, your options are 0 to 5, 5 to 10, or over 10 hours. And this is, 5 months into this year. And this is any time you've had to take off work. It could have been an emergency or to drive someone to a doctor's appointment, just, any time that you needed to ask for time off from work, or that you were not able to work because you're caring for somebody else. Let's see, and the majority, 63%, have had, 0 to 5. And I mean, it's important to know that you're taking time off work. For some of us, it could jeopardize your job, right? If you feel like you're not protected, it could jeopardize your job, but it also could mean lost wages. It could mean, long-term loss, like, what you're paying into Social Security if you're not getting paid. So there's, lots of consequences about that. Katie and Charlotte, can someone who is only working part-time be eligible?
So yes, what you need to do is determine if you are meeting all of the qualifications for both paid family leave and job protected leave. So I think the first step would be to just look at your pay stub and see if you are paying into the California State Disability Insurance Program. Almost all private sector employees are. And so that's very likely that a part-time worker would be contributing to that program. Then the other piece is to look at job protection. And that's where the number of hours that you work is really important. So you would need to have the qualifying reason. You'd need to have been at your job for 1 year. You need to work for an employer with at least 5 or more employees. So all of that has to be true. And you have to have worked at least 1,250 hours in the year prior to taking leave. So I think for part-time workers, looking at that hours requirement would be very important. And 1,250 hours is about 25 hours a week. So there would be part-time workers who could meet all of those qualifications.
Thank you. And your experience, what are the biggest barriers that keep Latinos from accessing these benefits? I know you were saying that this is our money, right? These are our benefits, but what keeps usually Latinos from accessing these resources and, just to help them with their caregiving responsibilities?
Yeah, so in our experience, that when we have been working with the Spanish speaking community throughout this year, there are 3 major barriers that we see. One is language access, just making sure that there's, when going through the application and getting support in the right language that you speak. Low awareness, we see this really across a lot of the communities, that people and workers don't know about paid family leave, and that's what quite typical. And sometimes their employers don't talk about their rights, whether if it's paid family leave and job protection or how those work together. Or if you have heard about it, as we see today, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of things to learn about. So just even understanding the laws can be hard. So low awareness is one. And then finally, immigration status. I feel like one thing that we've also seen is that a lot of workers don't realize that immigration and citizenship status do not affect your eligibility for these programs. You just, meet the eligibility requirements, whether you're paying into paid family leave or you meet the hourly year and work requirements for job protection, and that's how you qualify.
You mentioned immigration status, and because immigration situations, many people lay low under the radar, don't apply for benefits. Would this impact their immigration status in any way? Many of them may be applying, maybe in the process of, some documentation. Would this impact them in any way?
So one thing we always recommend, we have a lot of free legal services, and Katie, please feel free to jump in. Like, we have a lot of free legal services that if you feel comfortable going to them and just talking to them about the application process and accessing your rights, because of course we would not want to have any repercussions. If you are maybe, let's say, undocumented, we do sometimes recommend to apply via paper through the mail option than online, because online you have to verify your social security number. But there's many free legal services that we provide that can support you through this, no matter your citizen or immigration status, to make sure that you can access these benefits because you've worked hard, and also life happens, and you need to have these benefits to support you. I don't know, Katie, if you had anything else to add.
I would just say that if you have specific questions related to your particular situation, I would just really echo Charlotte's advice to speak with an attorney, make sure that you have all the information that you need and all your questions answered to make sure that you're making the decision that makes the most sense for you. And just also underscore that the EDD, citizenship and immigration status isn't considered with these programs.
Perfect. And you ladies provided like a ton of information today. I know we're going to have this recorded and available, but how else can people stay connected with the California Work and Family Coalition?
So you can follow us on social media. We are on Twitter, Instagram, we are on Facebook. We also, if you go to our website, there's a way that you can sign up for our newsletter. And that's a good way to stay in the loop when we have upcoming events or calls to action to advocate for new laws.
Perfect. I know that in addition to paid family leave and paid sick leave, there are other programs such as the In-Home Supportive Services, IHSS, that helps people with a serious disability and that are generally low income, hire a home care worker, which can include a family member, to help with daily activities like bathing, dressing, cooking, etc. And I also want to let people, watching know that AARP also has online resources which provide information on paid family leave and paid sick leave. You can visit the website at www.aarp.org/CA, so California paid leave. So at aarp.org/CA paid leave. You can also, of course, contact AARP Caregiver Resource Center at 1-877-333-5885. That's 1-877-333-5885. And it's also on the chat if you need the website or the phone number. Lots of resources there, of course, beyond, including what you've heard here, but everything you want to know about paid family leave and sick leave as well. Let's see, if anybody watching, please, has an odd question, please put it on the chat. But if not, what can people do if their employer denies the FMLA?
That is a great question. I would recommend immediately contacting an attorney, right? You want to get some good legal advice in that situation. It's also just important to kind of double check that you qualify for FMLA, but certainly if an employer is saying that you don't qualify, I think contacting an attorney is a really important step to make sure that you know your rights and can take steps to protect yourself.
All right. And I know, I'm sorry, go ahead, Charlotte.
No, I just wanted to add to what Katie was saying. That's why we really say keep all your communication and documentation through this process as you apply and know your rights. Always have documentation so that when you, if God forbid, you are in this situation, you're denied, and the first thing the attorney will ask you is, just some evidence of documentation. So,
all right. Once again, let us know, can people get fired for taking some family leave?
Sorry, Katie, I didn't know if you want to say, if you qualify for job protection, you should take job protected leave and you shouldn't be fired. And you can always communicate with your employer through this. If you are fired, as Katie said, like I would contact an attorney right away because by law, you shouldn't be. But of course, there are times workers aren't eligible for job protection, right? And that's when we do recommend you do talk to your employer to make sure you can have a plan when you return, have your job back. But unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. But like I said, that it just really depends on your eligibility. Katie, I don't know if you want to add a bit more.
No, we unfortunately do hear of instances of this happening, and it's just really awful that does happen. And so that's why these laws and protections are so important, right? It's just because they reflect sort of our common values that you shouldn't be fired if you need to take time to care for someone. And also why it's important for us to just advocate for them to be more expansive so that people are as protected as possible when they need leave for these reasons, because we all have a family, we're all going to get sick, right? So
absolutely. And I can understand employers. It may be a hardship for employers not having employees on the job, but like you said, we're human. We're going to have these needs, right? We have a life outside of work. And if you need to take time off and you qualify, you should be able to tap into these benefits. And like, Charlotte and Katie have said, please document. You're saying doctors, communications, whatever you have with your employer, take notes as much as possible. Ladies, can people take intermittent leaves, let's say either hours on a regular basis, or does it all have to be, one chunk now? Can it happen gradually?
So the short answer is yes. We both wanted to answer. But the short answer is yes. And I think this is really important for family caregivers too, because as Charlotte was saying, caregiving can be more of an ongoing need. And it's less likely than for baby bonding leave to be leave that you might want to take all at once. So yeah, I think the important thing to know is that for paid family leave, it's a maximum of 8 weeks total in a calendar year. And under the California Family Rights Act for job protection, there's a maximum of 12 weeks of leave. So if you can think about them together, you can use both intermittently, but you would only be paid for a total of 8 weeks in a calendar year. But you could take an additional 4 weeks of job protected leave. Charlotte, did you have anything to add to that?
No, and it's just to add that so you have 8 weeks of paid family leave a year, and that year isn't like from January 1st to December 31st. It's from the day you take it to the 12 months completing that. So for example, let's say I started today taking care of my grandfather. It would be from the next May 16th, 2023 would be the full year, and then I can retake it again after that if needed. But yeah, just echoing what Katie said, like I was a caregiver for my grandfather who had Alzheimer's, and I know that at the beginning it was intermittently, and then at the end it was full time. So really just, that's why we say communicate with your medical provider as well, and their medical provider, to understand when would be the best times and how to take your leave.
Yeah, and caregiving, I know that some people think that it's only for an older person, that you care for an older adult, but it can be anybody. In my situation, my sister became disabled at the age of 37, and so totally unexpected. All of a sudden, you're a caregiver. So really, there's benefits and there's help out there. There's resources for people. So if you know of anybody, people joining us and watching, if there's of anybody, please help them out, give them this information so they may be able to get these resources. And I know this information was on your presentation of the PowerPoint, but tell me again, what family members are covered under this benefit?
Yes. So the list for currently the law is that it's children, spouses, domestic partners, parents, grandparents, grandchildren, parent-in-law, and siblings.
Perfect. Thank you. What if your family member lives out of state, out of the country? How does that impact your benefits? Does the law cover that as well?
So what's great about these protections is that the benefits for caregiving flow through you, the person taking the leave. So if you have a relative who lives in another state, but you live in California and you qualify for the California Family Rights Act and you qualify for paid family leave, you can take leave to care for that person. It can also apply if your family member lives outside the country as well. Their care provider still needs to fill out all the paperwork. So we've heard about just some challenges with that. But in terms of you qualifying for benefits, the important thing is that you live in California and you qualify to take caregiving leave.
All right. You mentioned the application process. Who can people contact or access for information on actual, applying? For actual help in applying?
Yeah, so the EDD, the Employment Development Department, does have quite a few resources and videos, both in English and in Spanish, that talk you through what to expect through the application. We also have some of our webinars that talk you through the application. And a lot of our members have call lines, helplines, that if you really are having some barriers through the application process, or sometimes, you submit your application and something occurs and you need help, a lot of our members on our at the coalition can help you through that as well, and we're happy to connect you in that direction as well too.
All right, and you've mentioned that this is for serious health conditions. Can you give examples? So what would be considered a serious health condition? So it's not just necessarily an older person.
Yes. So the serious health condition, there's three types of conditions that it includes. So one, it's requiring an overnight stay or at a hospital or a medical care facility. Two, that you or the family member is incapacitated. That means you're unable to work or attend school for more than 3 days, as it requires ongoing treatment, doctor's visits, or prescribed medication. And then finally, chronic conditions that cause periodic incapacitation, such as migraines or asthma.
Thank you. And I know that, part of your job is to making people aware. That's why we're having these conversations as well, making aware of these benefits available to us and these resources to help caregivers. How else are you going out there to let people know? All right.
I wanted to let you answer that.
I feel like I was speaking too much.
Go ahead.
We're too nice to each other.
I know. All right, Charlotte, you go. Next one.
Okay.
Charlotte, go.
So we host webinars year round. You can sign up for our newsletter. And these webinars, we have them in English and Spanish. It is on our website. It's on our Facebook Live, and also the resource that we have as well. We're happy to also just come and have conversations like we are having with all of you today. We do this year round, and we are also planning to have more videos in other languages as well. I'm going to repost the resource that I posted earlier in the chat. This, I really highly recommend it. It talks you through all the leave programs we talked through today, and it's easy to share with your family members as well.
And that is perfect. So información en español, videos, hay línea de información. So thank you. There's going to be a lot of, more information. I know there was like information overload today, but they can go, right? They can go sign up for newsletters, more videos, more information. So it's perfect. Katie, you wanted to add something to that?
Not necessarily. I think those are great resources. I think also just please don't hesitate to reach out to our info@ email. Sometimes you have a particular question, or you just need a human being to help point you in the right direction, and we're happy to do that. And I think our hope is not that you will memorize all of the laws and programs. Our hope is that you will remember, okay, there's some programs and benefits for me as a family caregiver, and here's some places I can go to find more information and kind of to get me started on the process, because we know it is a lot of information.
Yeah, it is a lot, but really it's wonderful. I mean, we're fortunate to be in California as well. I know many other states, may not be able to have such generous opportunities as we do here. But as caregivers, we need all the help that we can get. I know that we do it as a, gesture of love, but it can also be exhausting, and it could be expensive. It could have a financial impact on people. So the more we can help caregivers, the better. And as a reminder also that all these resources can be found on the California Work and Family Coalition website at www.workfamilyca.org, correct? workfamilyca.org. And I know Charlotte put also some links here with more information as well. And of course, we can also, people can also go to the aarp.org for resources, just general resources and information. Just type what the information that you're looking for at the aarp.org website, who's, they just we have a ton of information available for people. Before we end, Katie, any additional information you want to add or share with our audience?
I would just say that I think, we find that a lot of people don't realize they can use paid family leave for caregiving. And so even just knowing that this is an option available to you, I think is really important. And so just really thank you all for being here and for the opportunity to share this information, and you sharing with one other person that this is a program that exists could be hugely, hugely impactful, because we do hear from caregivers who leave the workforce entirely because it can be such a struggle to balance working and caregiving. So we want people to know that this program is available.
Charlotte, anything you want to add?
And just kind of what Katie said earlier, that to feel free to reach out to us at any time, email Katie and myself or anyone at the coalition. If you also feel like you need support, just, if you're going through the process and just want to ask questions, happy to always jump on a phone call or on an email to answer further questions.
Wonderful. And this is kind of like the airplane theory, right? The way they tell you to put the oxygen mask yourself in order to be able to help somebody else. Otherwise, two people would be lost. Same thing. We need to have our caregivers stable financially, emotionally, secure and prepared. And so there's a lot of information and resources available. We don't we know the hardships that many people are facing. So please, feel free to tap into these resources, and you will see a number of them on the chats as well. Let's see. Well, once again, workfamilyca.org. So for more information, or at aarp.org for additional information. I want to thank you both for joining us today and providing such great information and sharing your expertise. Thank you so much for bringing this information to caregivers. And I want to give a special thanks to those who joined us today for our nuestra segunda episodio de la serie, Let's Talk Dinero. And we will continue collaborating with financial experts like Katie and Charlotte, who will continue bringing us information on just how to manage and stay afloat, debt management, retirement planning, entrepreneurship, and much, much more. Please join us on June the 20th. That will be our next event. So Tuesday, June the 20th will be the next one. You can visit, of course, get more information on aarp.org/Let's Talk Dinero to get, information. I know, right? All these websites, but anyway, they're on the chat. They're there, but otherwise we'll see everybody on June the 2nd to talk money. Thank you, Katie, Charlotte. Thank you so much for this valuable information and for being such advocates for all caregivers and all Californians. We appreciate it. And on behalf of AARP and all your friends here, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody watching, and we'll see you soon on June the 20th. All right. Hasta luego, everybody.